Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Choma Stitches and my name is Choma. On today's sewing tutorial, we're going to be making this beautiful ruched skirt and a crop top, and if it's something you are interested in, definitely keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. So to achieve this, I use this very beautiful patterned velvet fabric that I've always had, not knowing what to do with it. But when I saw this design, I immediately thought of this fabric. This is a 1.5 yard that I have here. This ruched skirt has no zipper, so we have to depend heavily on the stretchiness of the fabric. And this fabric is really stretchy, and that is why I thought of using it to make mine. So let's get straight into this. Now the length of the skirt is going to be 38 inches. I won't be adding any seam allowance at the hem. I will use from the 38 inches to also hold down the seam allowance. I hope you understand what I mean. Also from the top here, I'm going to be adding just 1 inch for hem, and this 1 inch is going to be for to add a bit of elastic. Now that elastic is to hold it in place for a more firm hold on the waistline. All right, so I'm going to be using this 1/2 inch elastic. All right, and then you can see this part that I folded in a little bit here. This is going to be the rope I will be using for the ruched effect in front. So I just folded in like 0.75 inch, and I'm going to be cutting it out, and I'm using this part of the hem of the fabric to cut out my band. I'll do the same thing at the other edge of the fabric. By the way, this is the selvage of the fabric, and this is because this part of the fabric gives more stretchiness. That's why I'm working with it. So I'm going to be folding this completely in half. My hip measurement is hip 40. I lost a bit of weight. My hip is usually 43, 42. So I am at 42 now because I lost a bit of weight. But I'm going to be using 38 inches for the hip because the fabric is stretchy, and the 38 inches will be able to stretch up to the 42. And for the waistline, my waist is 28 inches, and I'm going to be using about 6 inches for the waistline. Like I said, I'm going to be adding a little bit of elastic to hold better on the waist. Let me fold this fabric into 2. We are not folding the skirt into 4, we are folding it only into 2. So this is the full length of the skirt. I have 38 inches here. I'm not going to be adding any hemming allowance because the fabric is stretchy on both ways, which means it is going to have a little bit of stretch at the down part as well. But I'm going to be adding 1 inch at the top here to hem the top and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance. And of course, I'll cut out this selvage that I'm going to be using as the rope for the ruched effect. And like I said, we're cutting the skirt once in one go, so we're cutting both the front and the back together. There will be no side joining, only the joining in the front. All right, so that's why I folded it like this. So usually my hip measurement is 43 inches or 42 inches. Currently it's 42 inches. 42 inches divided by 2 is supposed to be 21 inches. But I have like 20 inches here, but I'm going to be reducing it. So I'm going to be taking out 1.5 inch in the front for the seam allowance. So I'm going to be cutting out with I'm going to be cutting out 20 inches straight from the top. Okay, so I'm just going to cut on this straight line. Okay, so we have this. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out this part I'm using for the rope. I'm going to cut another one of this rope, and I'll go ahead and sew it and turn it inside out to get the rope I'll be needing for this skirt. I'm just going to trim out the excess at the down part. Alright, so this is the hem. We're going to weave the hem, and I'm going to be joining the center straight with 1.5 inch. So when I join this place with 1.5 inch, it's going to be leaving the hip area with 18.5 inches. That will be like 37 inches for hip, and that will be enough to stretch and accommodate hip 42. The reason I'm making 37 inches and not smaller than that, even though the fabric can stretch more than that, is because I don't want it to stretch so much that the fabric becomes transparent. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now to reduce the waist area, my waist is 28 inches. Yeah, we're needing 1.5 inch for the ruched effect. So what I'm going to be doing is connect this place to the hip line. So from the waist, I'm going to come down to 7.5 inches from the waist to the hip, or 8 inches. I am ruling this all the way like this so I can eliminate this part to kind of reduce this. Okay, so I'm going to be taking out this part. This is how it looks. Now to cut out the top, the front part of the top, I'm going to be making it 19.5 inches. I'm going to be using 1 inch to hem it, obviously. So my shoulder measurement is 15 inches, but it is going to be 7.5 inches. But because the fabric is stretchy, I'm using 6.5 inches. And then I'm going to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slanting. I'm using a neckline of 2.5 inches. For the front depth, I'm going to come down to like 3.5 inches. And I'm going to curve it. And then I'm going to connect this shoulder slope, that the shoulder slanting, to the neckline. I'm going to come down for the armhole by 7 inches. And then I'll impute my shoulder measurement down here, 6.5 inches. Divide this pattern in half, we have 3.5. So dividing the armhole in half, we have 3.5. Come in by half of an inch, connect it to the shoulder slanting, and then use a curved ruler to curve the armhole. And I thought it was recording, that part did not record. My bust is 35 inches, divided by 4 is going to be 8.75 inches. Now I'm going to be using that 8.75 inches, but that will also include the seam allowance. Okay, and for my waist area, my waist is 28 inches, divided by 4 is going to be 7 inches. I will not be adding this seam allowance because I'll be sewing it from the same 7 inches. So I'm just going to connect this. Now around the bust area, I'm going to be adding the bust dart. So I'm going to come down. For my shoulder to my bust is going to be 10 inches, 10.5 inches. I want to take out the bust dart of 3 inches. So that the back is going to be 3 inches shorter than the front, so that the crop effect will show very well at the back. So from this 10.5 inches, I'm going to go up by 1 inch and then come down by 2 inches. So this is going to give us a 3 inches bust dart. Divide your bust point measurement by 2 to get the length of your bust dart. So your bust point of maybe 8 inches divided by 2 will be 4. Then you add 1 inch to it, and that will be the length. This will have 19.5 inches for the front. When I'm cutting out the back piece, I'm going to be reducing it to 16.5 inches. And around this dart area, I am going to be creating a dart effect that will like an allowance. So I'm just creating like a V here. I'm going to cut this out. So I'm marking out the shoulder line, that's the starting point. From here I'm going to come down and mark out the 16.5 inches. Marking out the 6.5 inches for the shoulder. Come down by 1 inch. Mark 7 inch for the armhole. Mark 6.5 inches here for the shoulder. Connect it. Divide the armhole in half and you have 3.5 inches. Come in by half of an inch. Connect it to the shoulder slope. That's the 1 inch slanting. And then curve the armhole using the curved ruler, following this pattern. And then for the neckline, I'm using the same 2.5 inches for the front, from the back neckline. While for the depth, I'm going to come down to like 10 inches or 11 inches. Now this is to give us a sharp V neckline that we want. So this is going to be the neckline, and this opening at the back is going to allow us to be able to wear this dress even though it will not have a zipper. I hope you understand. So transferring the bust measurement and the waist measurement, I'm going to go ahead and connect it and cut out this back piece. I'm going to be using the leftover pieces to cut out facing for the neckline of both the front piece and the back piece. I'm going to be using this leftover fabric to cut out the sleeve. Okay, so I can use the length of this, what I have here. This is by 11. I can use the whole of this. So I can use a half an inch, 1 inch to hem it. From the top here, I'm going to come down to 3 inches. That will be the armhole sitting. Divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 to each. So that's going to give me like 7.2 inches. I'm going to slant this part. And here I'm going to find the center of this place. I'm going to find the middle, like so, and go up by half an inch and curve it. Just basic sleeve pattern. And then for my round curve, I need 10 inches. And then I'm going to be adding 1 inch here, or 0.75 inches as well for the sewing allowance for this one. And I'm just going to connect these two. So I'm going to cut this sleeve out. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this back neckline as well, and sew the front neckline. So here I've gone ahead to sew the neckline. This is the back, and I've top stitched it. And if you look closely, you see there is a hemming gum in between the facing and the main fabric, okay, so that when I iron it, it will lay flat. Okay, using a bias for the neckline is nice, but when you use a facing and you use hemming gum, it comes out even way neater than when you use a bias. So I always opt for the option of facing unless my fabric is not plenty. This is the front piece. I have also done the same thing for the front piece, as you can see. And I also took out the dart, the 3 inches dart on the bust area for the front. As you can see, I took it out as well. The fabric is stretching, hence all of this drama thing is acting like this. So this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the shoulder. Meanwhile, for the skirt part, look at what I have done. I've gone ahead to sew it with 1.5 inch. As you can see, I left an opening here at the beginning, and I started sewing, and at the end here, I left a little bit of an opening. So I'm going to go ahead and weave the down part. Okay, I'm going to weave the hem, weave this side, I'll weave it open. It's going to be open like this. I'll weave it, and I'll weave the top as well, so that I can sew it only once when I am hemming. Okay, I will do that for these ones. So I've joined the shoulders. I'm going to go ahead and iron the neckline before I can now attach the sleeve. So I've ironed it. Look at how neatly it is now. It's neater, it's laying flat, and this is the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the sleeve to it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the sleeves. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew the sleeve. So I'm going to be joining the sides now. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the sides, and I will weave the hem, and I'll weave the hem, weave the sleeve, and weave the inside out. Also, this rope that I cut out, I'm going to go ahead and make a long rope out of it. I've joined the two pieces I cut out together. I'm going to go ahead and join the sides and make a rope out of this. This is the skirt part. I've weaved the middle, the center front, and weaved the down, and weaved the top as well. Okay, now because the top is going to be having elastic, now I left an opening. I didn't close it completely. Okay, this is the waist side, this is the hip side. You see the difference in the measurement. Anyway, so here I didn't close it, I left an opening. So I'm going to be folding it down by half an inch. Okay, by half an inch, and I'm going to go ahead and sew it round. That is why I weaved it. So I only fold it down once, because we're going to pass elastic here, and I'll do the same thing for the down part as well. I also left an opening. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it down on the down part. And then this is for the top. The top, I've gone ahead to weave it, and you can see all the rough sewing and everything is concealed. And I'm going to, now that I've weaved it, I'm also going to go ahead and hem the down part of the top by folding it in once as well and sewing it round. And I'll do the same thing for the sleeve as well. And when you do that for the top will be ready. And of course, I've prepared my rope that we're going to use to create the ruched effect. So I've gone ahead to hem the waistline and hem the down part as well. Okay, so for the waistline, this is where we're going to be passing the elastic. So I have my elastic. I already measured it around my waist to where it's most comfortable and where it can also come down the hip line. Okay, it has to be able to grip your waist and at the same time be able to just come down the hip line. So now I'm going to be doubling the elastic. I want it to be doubled to make it to give it more strength. I do it when I'm working with this 1/2 inch elastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass it in the opening. Okay, so this is what we have. So now that I fixed the elastic, I'm going to first lock the elastic to keep it in place, and then I'm going to join this place together. So now that we've sewn it, we join the down part and join the center as well and locked in the elastic inside. So what I'm going to do now is make room for the ruched effect. So I'm going to open up the seam line and I'm going to sew it. So this seam line this direction, this other seam line this other direction, and I'm going to be sewing it at 1/2 inch opening, or you can leave up 0.75 inches opening. Sew it like this all the way until we get to the down part. I've done it. As you can see, I've created the channel, and of course the top as well. I've gone ahead to hem the sleeve and the down part, and this is how it looks. This is a nice bodycon top. If at this point, guys, you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. You can also turn on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I drop a new tutorial. I don't mind if you also share this video. You can share it to someone who needs it or somebody that it might be of help to. I'll also appreciate that. Thank you to all the old subscribers who have been here from day one. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support. And for the new subscribers who have joined the family, you guys are welcome. And if you're meeting this channel for the first time, I hope you decide to subscribe and join this beautiful family. You would really like it here. Okay, so this is what we have. Let's turn it to the right side. I'm going to just secure this by keeping it like this. I'm going to go ahead and try this on and show us how it looks. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. See you guys in my next tutorial. Bye bye.